Community woodlands span the length and breadth of Scotland. Communities owning and managing thousands of hectares of different types of woodland. The volunteers use their entrepreneurial skills, determination and local knowledge to enhance biodiversity, to enable access to beautiful places, to create jobs, to bring educational opportunities and to improve our physical and mental health. In addition, they support diversity of land use, as well as creating new networks to build community wealth. Here at the Community Woodlands Association, we believe every community deserves a woodland. Empowering and enabling groups of people across Scotland, for the last 20 years, there are now over 160 groups caring for their local landscapes in ways that support their communities. Here we feature just 4 of these organisations, all of whom are part of Scotland's fragile temperate rainforest on the west coast of Scotland.
There's an age class crisis with the trees currently. We've got lots of veteran trees, but not a lot of regrowth. And the reason for that is due to the deer density, both in the woodland, but also prevalent in the local region in general. There's also an issue with rhododendron, here in Argyll and here in Glennon in particular, and also other invasive species such as Sitka spruce.
Having been here over a period of time, it's really good to see that you are actually making a difference, and that it can be done. It can be done, but with the will and determination, you can make a difference.
And I think there's a great opportunity with community forests in general, and how they are going to really complement business and lifestyles to the benefit of the communities that they're in and they serve.
And as a country, we have an international obligation to look after that from a biodiversity perspective. So, the biodiversity treaty that we all signed up to in Rio de Janeiro 30 years ago now, that said that every country should find out what is special in their country and then look after it. Scotland's rainforest, which is this temperate rainforest that sits on the west coast of Scotland, it's a place where the air is clean. So there's never been very much in the way of industry here, so no problem with dirty air, nice clean wind. We can hear it above our heads blowing in off the Atlantic. Land use has been relatively light, so it's never been too intensively managed. And the temperature is neither too hot nor too cold. It's an equable climate. So the Gulf Stream has given this place very mild winters, and it never gets too hot in the summer either. And the third factor is obvious in the name. This is a part of the world where it rains a lot. It's these plants that swathe both the trees and the rocks around us are what makes this place special.
Hi, I'm Grant. I'm the forester here with Knoydart Forest Trust. I've been here since 1993. Forestry and woodland management and management of the natural environment is a long-term game. It depends on people with an intimate knowledge of the thing that they're managing, and I strongly believe that you get a much higher quality of management if the people that are doing the work live in the environment that they're managing. We have a mixture of native and non-native woodland. We are managing the non-native woodland to increase the amount of native woodland. We're felling the monocultural blocks of Sitka spruce and replanting with mixed species, mostly native species but not all species. And then outside of the kind of village area, out the glen, we're planting solely native woodland and expanding the native woodland.
So my name's Finlay Gregg. I'm a ranger with the Knoydart Foundation. 7 days a week we offer local tours in the village woodland, and a lot of people get romantic about our mountains, and I think people get romantic about the mountains in Scotland, but we're very unromantic about our native woodland, and that's something I think we need to get much more excited about. So we've put it front and centre of what we do here.
The other way we're trying to support the local economy is by providing a venue for softer forms of ecotourism, experiential educative courses and experiences, and also forest school type experiences for younger people. These are all things which aren't at loggerheads against the conservation efforts we're trying to employ, such as managing the rhododendron, the deer and the Sitka plantations. We bought, as part of the small grant we used to plant this area, some apple pressing equipment. We've got a scratter and an apple press, and quite recently we had some locals arrive at the school, and they were pressing apples from their orchards in the local area.
My name's Lewis Pate. I'm currently one of the directors of Arcade Community Forest. I stay locally here. I've been helping them out with primarily the deer larder, which is a brand new sparkling modular Fisher deer larder. Hasn't actually had a deer put through it as yet, but we're working on that. But we've got this resource now. We had a funding bid in, which paid for a few bits and pieces, including a tree nursery and composting toilet. And it's given us something to work with that hopefully will develop into an income stream. We've also had aspirations, or we have aspirations, to develop a community venison project.
So we create new woodlands on Knoydart, and that helps the community regenerate and be a stronger, more resilient community, because it provides jobs, as well as we're doing our part as a community for the climate. We're planting trees, which is helping to store carbon, and it's part of the future. So the trees that we're planting today will be a useful resource for the future generations on Knoydart.
So we've just come across the law on Arctic Fire to Ecological Pine Forest. Ecological Pine Forest is a co-owned, co-managed forest between Woodland Trust and Arctic Community Forest. We have a unique partnership arrangement where legally Woodland Trust own 95% of the site and the community own 5%. Though we have a management agreement across the whole site and manage it together.
My name's Ian Jorgensen. I'm the Managing Director at Portavadie Estates Limited. We're a resort destination based out in Lochfine. Visitors, guests, teams, crews, staff, businesses are much more in tune with what's happening on their doorstep, much more into nature, and there's a great opportunity working with community forests to really engage with the forest, understand what its assets are. And I think there's a great opportunity with community forests in general and how they are going to really complement business and lifestyles to the benefit of the communities that they're in and they serve. But also they do need people to care after them. They won't care for themselves. So pathways, access, how do we make it interesting for people? There's things that we have on our doorstep that are underappreciated, they're underused, and they could form much, much more of the rich fabric in which we live and work and play.
We like to think that we're using the woodland resource as a circular economy. We're starting with putting trees in the ground. We're then using the woodland as a means of generating income. We're producing products like firewood and milled timber. We're creating small wood products as well. So we can produce these things and sell them and reinvest the money back into the woodlands, into planting more trees. So we get back to the start.
Hi, my name's Dallas. I've been coming to Kilmarnock Woods with the volunteers for 21 years. The reason I do it, partly the camaraderie of the volunteers, but the joy of changing something that's actually in a poor biodiversity condition into something that's in good biodiversity condition. I like it because you go up a hill or on a moor, but you go in a woodland and you immerse yourself in it. And it's just a fantastic place to be.
Yeah, so we really believe that a diverse, resilient, native woodland provides a lot more benefits to people and wildlife and other flora than a monoculture of non-native productive conifer. So we're restoring this landscape, but we're really hoping to restore people's connection to the place, restore our woodland culture, and also increase the derived benefits that people receive from the forest in order to foster that connection to the place. So things like firewood and non-timber forest products, and even we're starting to build an outdoor learning shelter. It's a roundhouse to encourage outdoor learning. We have a wildlife hide, and just we have an art trail to lure people into the woods to spend more time there and to reconnect with this native ecosystem.
Well, as far as the educational side of the Woodlands, our Troy Outdoor Education Centre use the Woodlands. They have parties of school children, about 1,000 a year at the moment, who come up here and they learn about outdoor world.
Okay, so I'm Andy. I'm the centre manager here at Ardroy Outdoor Education Centre in Loch Oilhead, and we run a residential centre for young people to come and stay for 5 days, say, or a weekend. So for us, the woodlands are really, really important because we have climbing wall here, we have, archery, we've got facilities on site, but the ability to be able to just go down the road and go to, an ancient woodland and show the kids that there, take them there no matter what the weather, teach them, woodland skills, fire making, all this kind of thing, and also having the opportunity to talk to them about the flora and the fauna.
It's been such a great experience for them, lots of fresh air and being able to be out and about and see things they've never seen before. A lot of our kids don't experience this kind of thing at home, and for them to be able to be going long walks and getting a lot of fresh air and exercise has really helped. They're all giggles and smiles and really enjoying their time in the woods and up mountains and in rivers, and getting wet, getting muddy. It's been great for them.
We do encourage volunteers to come out and help with sort of conservation working parties, but we're also looking at a working group model at the moment where we can engage an older population to help with the various management aspects of the woodland, such as business, arts and crafts, courses and events, buildings, and ecology, that sort of thing.
I'm Jackie Matthews and I'm the woodland manager. I started volunteering here about 3 years ago. We eventually moved up here full time because we love the place, and I was invited to join the board. So I'm now a board member as well, and just taking on more and more responsibility, doing what I can to help.
My name's Bruce. I'm formerly from Fife. I've been coming to this part of Scotland for about the last 20 years. So I've seen quite a bit of change in the woodlands here, very dominated by Sitka spruce in the early days, and are now gradually returning it to a more native woodland with this kind of species that should be here, oak, hazel, rowan, and things like that. We have quite a diverse group of people come along to the various meetings that we have, conservation group. Various people from different backgrounds. We all have a sort of a common interest in nature and natural things. But the sort of things that I think the people from the group will take away, there's we're learning new skills, we're improving our knowledge. We're transferring learning from this environment back home to things that we do in our gardens. Some of us can transfer stuff from here to our workplaces. We have conversations with other people and sort of spread the word about the need for biodiversity and the impact on nature. Mental health benefits, physical health benefits, there's lots of research and documented evidence about that. And I think if you ask anybody in the group, they would sort of say it's a combination of all these different factors. But it's also important here about changing or re-establishing this woodland to what it should be. It should be a North European rainforest and the types of trees, and from that the flowers and fauna and the insects and the birds and the mammals that should be here, we're gradually seeing them returning.
The rainforest zone is one of the most depopulated parts of Scotland. You look at the population density per hectare in the west coast of Scotland and it's sparse, really sparse. The other thing about that population is that in a lot of Scotland it's ageing on the west coast of Scotland. So you're getting smaller, older communities. And that's not great for either the future of the community or the woodland. If your woodland only has old trees in it, that doesn't work. If your community doesn't have young people in it, then that doesn't work either. And there's real possibility for synergy between rainforest restoration and community restoration.